everybody. The story of Amzo, it's one of the stories that in Africa exist in every part of home. Maybe in each family you could find more than 6 children that one single woman could raise them under so very tough conditions. It's actually amazing that we are still hearing stories like this in Africa. Maybe we'll continue to raise more African children. Thank you for that. I am a co-founder of refugees in Libya, one of the co-founders of refugees in Libya. And refugees in Libya, it's a grassroots of a self-organized movement in 1st of October 2021 in Libya, when we found ourselves more than 5,000 migrants and refugees through the streets of Tripoli, demanding the end of abuse and the torture. We sat our peaceful protest in UNHCR offices more than 100 days. After that, our peaceful protest had brought up brutally, and many of us had taken to prisons and detention centers. So there we had formed our refugees in Libya using our cell phones to document and to register our life and the brutality that we had been living in Libya, in order to make rich this information to the world, how also refugees in Libya are living in very tough conditions. Those of us who escaped from Libya reached Europe, others were died in Mediterranean Sea, and some of us who reached to Europe still continue to talk and to document this situation through many cities in Europe, in Italy and outside Italy. It's also an honor and privilege that we gather today here to speak about Africa. But in Africa, if we want to talk about her, I think, as Lumumba said, we better deeply go to in history to know how it is. The explorers come to that part of the world and take more than half of African to enslave out of Africa. The African had brought to US and they built America, as well to Caribbean and to Europe. But when the slavery has lost its shame, there is something introduced on us: colonization. The European countries sat down in Berlin as 1884, 1885 to divide Africa in 54 African countries. Therefore, again, when it lost the colonization, again something introduced a project which is more subtle, neo-colonization again. But the neo-colonization, it is still deeply haunting our souls as young Africans. Many of us trying to reach at the border of Europe, asking to save life, looking for justice. How these massacres will end in Africa, how this neo-colonization again will begin and will end up as in slavery. But of course, the elections come to Africa, and when we do every election, we enter to war. As my rural home Sudan is not at ease. The neighbor country like South Sudan is also not at ease. Many African countries is quarreling after the elections. Why and how? We know that churches went to Africa, but in the early centuries, they never did the same that they're supposed to work. The church at the last days was not working the same way as good supposed to be work. But if we ask ourselves, why the church never worked as before, never worked it, is that now we are seeking and willing that church will do something to Africa? Because I really truly believe that Africa will never rest by praying and fasting. But I also feel sad again that when we face some worries and trying to cross Mediterranean, because young people dying every day, my personal experience to Libya through crossing Mediterranean, it wasn't hard. And I'm sure that here many will say that it wasn't hard. But of course, for us Africans, we cross Mediterranean, we ask that this kind of situation will end. But 5 minutes ago, I was heard that Africans must travel by passports. How many of us trying to reach Europe by truly illegal way, but had been rejected, whether they have holding passports or not? I think church now must work hard and develop also Africa again. But when we say developing, it's not mean that we are looking for the building skyscrapers. No, it is not wrong with that, but we are saying that let America go to moon, but we are willing to provide water and peace to our villages in Africa. So today, the refugees in Libya, it is truly sad that again, the things is not changing against the migrants and African refugees. So therefore, we are asking again the memorandums between Italy and Libya will not renew it again, because this memorandum it is still killing us, it is still massacring and torturing us. We are also raising awareness through many Italian cities that these memorandums will not again renew it, will not start again. Because when we migrants trying to cross the Mediterranean and being pushed back again, we never liberate ourselves. We found ourselves inside the detention centers and paying ransoms to liberate ourselves, which is mean that Europe, it is saving its territory under our souls. How could it be? I think we must work hard to make that the voices of unhelped people will be reaching to those who takes the decisions like memorandums. My speech will not end, but I want to say thank you so much. I wasn't expecting that when we are talking about Africa, our stage will be fought like this, not full with a lot of Africans that are supposed to help their stories. But I think for us we know what happened to Africa and how we came here, and those whom spoke in front of me also brought many things. We are here to follow this kind of things, to make that we are suffered again. But when this suffer will end, when this suffer will finish, because we are losing many people, and we still our countries destroyed because of the bad policies that maybe EU supporting the Coast Guards and supporting many kind of terrorists in Africa. So from here, we're supposed to make our voices very helpful, especially the young Africans that who came here in Europe. Thank you so much.